Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. I'm going to be making decorated Christmas bags so that you and your family can do this as well. It's relatively simple, and we're going to make a topper that I'm going to show you how to make this really cute. And so let's get started. I bought my white paper bags at Walmart. They're called Great Value. So you know they are a super duper value, and you get a lot of them. I think you got like 150, or I'm making this up, doesn't say. 50. Oh, I have my finger on it. You get 50 of them, and they're in the section where you find paper products like paper towels, paper napkins, paper plates. I think it's more with the paper plates. Anyway. Then my paper is from a paper pad that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's called Christmas Confetti, and there were supposed to be a lot of pages in this that had foil on them. See the word foil there? I got excited about that and bought it, only to find out not that many have foil on it, just so you know. So what I'm going to do first with my bag is I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm just going to cut off that wonky top edge. I just don't think you need that when you're doing something with a bag. You want it to be as straight across. I need to go a little further because I got that little indentation where you're supposed to put your thumb or something. I don't know. Can you do a bag? I don't know what you do with that little spot. But anyway, I took that off. And then we're going to measure this. And it's about 5.5 inches, so I'm going to make this 5.5 inches. I'm going to fold it in half, so I only have to cut it once. We only want to make this 5.5 inches across, so I'm going to put this in at 5.5, like that, and then we'll cut it off. Now, you don't want this to be super long, but on the other hand, you don't want it to be short either, and the reason I'm saying that is you're really going to want to make this so that you can have a handhold on it if you can. So we're going to practice a little bit. I'm going to go through how I'm going to make a handhold. I was just straightening out my bottom there. If you didn't notice, that was a little askew. We'll get that out of there. What we're going to do with this is we're going to put it on. That's my excess. We'll leave that for another project. We're going to put this on basically like this, but we're going to make the bottom edge really pretty, and we're going to make the top have an oval hole punch in it. So let's start with our oval hole punch. So I'm using a 2.5 inch oval punch that I'm pretty sure I got from Hobby Lobby. I think that's where I got it. Yeah, it's called Paper Studio. And I'm going to take this and we're going to go down as far as we can from the top, and that way we'll make sure that our paper will be as far down to make it as strong as possible. And I'm going to center it up on both sides if I can. Okay, so there's our punch, and it already looks a lot like a bag. And then we're going to take another punch, and this is my corner rounder punch. If you have any kind of corner rounding punch, it'll work for this, so use whatever you've got. I just wanted my corners to be pretty, if I could. And I'm only going to do the top two edges. Got a little excess string there. We're only going to do the top edges because the bottom we're going to use with a die. Now, if you've done anything like this before and you have thought about what ways can I make the bottom edge look frisky, there are lots of ways to do it. I have this die that I think is really pretty. It kind of looks like snowflakes. So I think I'm going to try this and see if I can get that to work. Of course, I'm going to have to use it twice. That is the tricky part of it. Let me do that and I'll be back. So in order to do the rest of my paper cutting here, I'm going to need to line this up. I don't really care what, see how it's all coming loose? I don't care about that. What I want to make sure of is that my pieces, just like with a regular paper punch, I might have that the wrong way. Let me see if I do. Okay. Just like with a paper punch, you know, when you use paper punches, you end up with an end that you have to line up. Well, this is the same way, and we're going to try and line this up just at the very last edge here, if we can. I'm going to try and make it. I was trying to do it right there. And only thing that cuts on this is the top. You only have that little kind of ruffled edge. So that's all we need to worry about. We don't need to worry about the rest of the die. We just want to make sure that our edge is lined up. So when I put it in my paper trimmer, I'm going to have to put it in this way, and I'm only going to cut that little bit. So let me put this in my die cutter, and I'll be right back. So I've trimmed out my bottom, and then I ran a white piece of cardstock through this Merry Christmas die, and I had to put a shim in because the cardstock is the 110-pound Michael's Recollection, so it's really thick cardstock, but it cut well after I put the shim in. It just was a little bit tough without a shim, so just a note to yourself. And then the die I used was this one, and it comes in a set with that one. I had a lady from Banggood, it's a website from China, contact me and ask me if I would try some of her dyes and see if I liked them, and so far they work really well. They're relatively inexpensive, and both the Merry Christmas and this set came from them, so I just thought I would tell you I tried them. I think they work fine. So if you have any doubts about trying that website, I hope I've calmed your fears. I think what I'm going to do is put some of this holographic embossing powder on the Merry Christmas to make it more Christmassy, and then I'm going to be using some Stampin' Up! Cherry Cobbler. I thought it kind of matched better than, from the bottom anyway, it looks like it matched better than the other red I had, and I'm going to do that on the bag. But I wanted to show you in the meantime some lovely stamps that my friends at Rubber Stamp Tapestry sent me. I'm sure you've seen Lindsay the Frugal Crafter use this set, the old Fashioned Gingerbread, and then there's the Poinsettia Wreath and the Poinsettia Flourish. I'll put that to the side, and then the Christmas Garland. Hopefully the light isn't giving you a bad glare on that. And I think what I'm going to do, I'll show you from the top too, because it's easier if you can see them, hopefully, standing on end, because you actually see the stamped image. Okay, hopefully you can see all four of those and there's no glare. If there is, I apologize, but those are the sets that they sent me. Then they sent me a few more that were these, and they're really cute as well. And I had bought a bunch of snowflakes and a littler Christmas ornament already. Oh, and they also sent me Merry Christmas in a little one, so that's fun. So we'll use, I think today we're going to use the bigger poinsettias, which I think are in this set, which is called, again, Poinsettia Flourish. And it was so nice of Rebecca to send me these. She's such a sweet lady. I couldn't have done any of that project where we sent packages to people without her. She's just such a lovely lady and so generous and kind. So these are the ones we're going to use. I'll show you them again so you can see them. I really like the flourish that comes with it, as well as the poinsettia. And again, remember, we're doing this on our paper bag that I immediately put aside. There it is. And we're going to do both sides of our paper bag. I'm not going to make you watch me stamp everything on the paper bag, but I do want to show you, kind of my project as I work through it. We're going to use some Versamark, which is watermark ink. It's really sticky, and it works well for when you're doing something like this where you're going to be covering everything with embossing powder. And I'm going to use my little bag. I did have a really nice lady, Nancy Osborne, sent me a really nice package where she sent me a pouch of the embossing powder, the stuff that helps you with embossing, and she also sent me an eraser. I thought I showed it in a video, but I'm not sure if I did, and I feel really bad because I'm not sure if I did show that or not. So I'm telling you about it now. And again, Nancy, I'm so sorry I didn't talk about it sooner if I didn't. Okay, so my bag is completely clean, and hold on, I want to show you this. Remember, this part, I might as well leave that on so you can kind of see it. to the, we're going to fold our bag over a little bit, I think, but up to the oval is the most that you're going to be able to decorate. So I'm just going to leave it in like that. I'm going to lay my stamp pad on it. So I'm just going to stamp. You're not going to be able to see this, obviously, because if you don't know anything about these inks, you can't see them when they're wet. And I did buy, I think I already said this, maybe I didn't. I'm going to do a video where I'm going to show you all about embossing powders, how to use them, how to use the whole technique. And I wanted to make sure when I did that I had kind of everything you would need. So I ordered all the different kinds of powders, all the different kinds of the inks, everything. So I wanted to make sure that we could try it all. I also did all of I bought all of the different pouches, and now I didn't have that pouch, but I bought the little bottle, and we're going to see which one embosses best. So with that being said, and long-winded as I normally am, we're going to put some of this Cherry Cobbler underneath it, but first I'm going to put something under it that I can pour it back into the bottle with. I'll get that out of the way. And I'm only going to do, at first I'm only going to do the flower, because I want to do the leaf in a different color. We're going to do everything in its own color. So let's kind of make sure all of our poinsettias have some powder on them. Oh, I missed one at the top there. I'll dump a little bit more on there. Not like I haven't dumped the whole bottle on already, right? Probably thinking that. Okay, let me get all this out of the way because we're going to need the powder again for the other side. When I do this, I like to have a brush that's a little bit stiffer, and I'm going to try and get some of this excess powder off. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is, after you get all of the powder off, then you're going to want to, we're going to close this up, you're going to want to take your heat tool and heat set all this. So let me warm up my heat tool and we'll get it going. You just want to make sure your heat tool is warm enough that it'll quickly turn your inks to shiny. Now on this one, there's one that I missed a couple spots on. So what we're going to do with those is we're going to add a little bit of marker. I have an embossing marker, and we'll just add a little embossing marker to it and make sure that it looks like the rest. So the two different embossing markers I have are this Marvy embossing, it's called Wet Looks embossing marker, and then this is an Emboss It pen from Ranger, and the one from Ranger comes in black and clear, and when I bought this I really thought I would like the black one, but it was dry almost instantly after buying it, so I was really kind of disappointed in that one. But I'm hoping that this one will work to fill in the spots, you know, on these edges where I have a little bit that didn't seem to get the powder on it. So let me clean off my marker. Take our embossing powder again and hopefully only put a little bit on. Well, or a bunch. So I did both sides. Now I'm going to do the leaf. That's this kind of ivy looking leaf, and if you've never used peg stamps, these are the greatest things because this line will tell you exactly where the end of my branch goes. So when I want to get right in there and stamp it right up to the edge, and I'm going to show you a trick too. It doesn't matter at this point if I'm overlapping onto my my inside of my poinsettia, and I'll show you that in a second too about why that doesn't matter, because I have a trick that I'm going to share with you. I saw this trick on, I think it was on Stamp TV, that someone had done this, and I thought, that's genius. And so we're going to give it a shot and see how it works. And this is called Evergreen. The color I'm using, it's a Ranger embossing powder. I know I always use way too much, but that's why I'm kind of helter-skeltering it, right? I think that one went the other way from where I had it, where I thought I had it stamped. So let's see if we can here's what you do. Here's the trick. You can see it really good in this particular poinsettia. Do you see how I overlap my poinsettia? All you need to do is you need to go over the area that you've already embossed and heated, and all we're going to do is we're going to wipe that off, so that it's kind of like when you mask with stamps. It's along the same line. You're just going to wipe off the poinsettia stem that overlaps our poinsettia. I'm going to get rid of all that. So anything that we don't want, we'll get rid of. Okay, I'm going to finish cleaning this up, and then I'll heat set it, and I'll be back. Okay, we're going to go over the bag again with our pouch, just because we've already done 2 rounds with it. You can do the pouch with every layer you do, but I didn't have any bad results. And you can see where I cleaned up my my flower so that I didn't have any of that left behind, and all the leaf that was there is no longer there, so I think that's kind of cool. And now I'm going to put in these swirls and just kind of put them in helter-skelter, and hopefully I won't have to do any kind of cleanup for these. Color gold I'm using is called Princess Gold. It's by Ranger. I like this because it's not a really bold gold. Bold gold? I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. Okay. Put this around and see if we can get all of our swirls. So I think at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my Merry Christmas gold, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my stamp pad. I have a scrap paper under it, and I'm just going to mash my pad over it until I think I've got the whole thing covered. Now, if you don't think you have the whole thing covered, you can always do this so that you can really press it in there. The goal here is to make sure you don't miss any little component of this word. Like there's a little holly on each end. It's very intricate. It's really pretty. Okay, I think that's good. So now I'm going to go to it, flip this over, and I'll dump it on there. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I think it does. I'm happy with that. So we're going to take a little bit of wet glue and put on the back of our Merry Christmas. I have a craft mat. If you didn't know, I have a craft mat under my work surface here, so hopefully my glue, I had to add more glue to my little bottle here, and I'm worried that it's too wet because I had trouble with when I did it, the glue just seemed like it either was too thick or too thin. There was no in between when I diluted it. Let me get that to lay flat. Hopefully it's straight. This glue is very, very sticky. Unlike some wet glues that aren't, this glue is really sticky, and so when you use it, you have to really be careful of that, because if you get it on you, you're stuck to whatever you use. So when you use it, you have to make sure you don't get stuck to it. Looks pretty good, I think. Alright, so then what you're going to do, let's say that this is, I'm just going to fake this for now so that you see what I'm talking about. What you're going to do is you're going to put your bag in like that. I'll turn it sideways so you can see it. You only want to go up to the point that your oval is, and then you'll fill your bag with whatever goodies you have. Hopefully you can see all that. You'll fill your baggie, and then you can staple it, you can glue it. I probably would staple it just to make sure that you have a really good hold. But remember that this is paper, and although this top part, you have a handhold, you don't want to put rocks in there or something really heavy. You're really looking for something like, lighter weight presents like jewelry or stuffed animals, things like that. I hope you enjoyed this and that it gave you some ideas of how you could make gift bags a little differently. Obviously this one took a lot more time than normal. I wanted to do one bag that was really super special so that you could see how the lengths you can go to, but you could also do it as simply as one color, where let's say you did everything in gold. That would be beautiful, and then you would stamp everything at once and you'd be done. So just a thought for you. I hope that you'll give it a try and that you'll make some of your loved ones some homemade gift bags, because they're fun and inexpensive, and I think they have a big wow factor. I hope you'll give this a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell one friend about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.